Great to have Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool with us again. Andrew, how are you going this week?
Yeah, very well. Thanks, Ricky. Thank you.
I have to ask, Andrew, do you have one of those awful Christmas jumpers? We might need one this Christmas.
You wouldn't believe it. I think it's under 10 degrees here this morning, so I've got the beanie on, and it's the middle of November.
Unbelievable. So maybe wool will be the Christmas must-have clothing item this year.
Good opportunity for AWI, eh? Great opportunity.
Absolutely. Now, let's look at the market at the AWEX. Where maybe a little glimmer of hope. We've had a slight rise, I guess, in one respect in the EMI.
Yes, mate. Yeah, no, you're right. Paint the picture for the week. And we go back to the middle of last week, I think we might have reported there was a bit of greedy trading. China was showing interest. We had a currency at that stage quite a bit lower, around the 65 mark middle of last week. Been a bit of business reported, particularly in those middle microns, the 19.5 to 22 micron area. And then we had the big rise in the currency, which I think no one expected, sort of latter part of last week. So as a result, we've got forward orders coming through into the auction. The middle microns traded very well. They went up a little bit. The 20 micron indicator went up 15 cents, for instance, to 13.80, and 21 micron indicator in Melbourne yesterday had a bit of a run, and it went up over 1300 to 1320. So as a result, the EMI in US terms, as you're pointing out, it went up 27 cents. But in actual Aussie terms, the overall market went down, as the EMI went down 9 cents to 12.32, and that was mainly account of the fine wools, 18.5 and finer eased a bit. We're getting a lot of overlong and sort of not very good performing wools, while the better wools are selling very well. The AWEX indicators obviously is a basket of a lot of types, and as a result, those indicators are down a bit, just mainly a result of the, dare I say, inferior offering of fine wools.
And I guess are we seeing a bit more optimism from those putting bales up on offer, having a bit of a dip in a market where there might be opportunity to get a good price?
If you got good wool, Ricky, yeah, absolutely, that's been sourced, because what's happening is, mainly the mills, there's a lot of mills, and particularly European mills, they're chasing the better spec stuff, and they have to pay for it, because it's a diminishing type. If you've got handy wools, certainly you'd be putting on the market, and there's big premiums for very well measured wool, talking $2 a kilo breezy between, similar micron wools that might have a high mid-break or might be over 100 mils long and this sort of thing. So, there's a bit of variation in the market for sure at the moment. And for those who've got the good wools, they're getting well rewarded.
Well, it seems to be a decent variation in the positive direction for those in the medium indicators. Fair bit of green in that part of the market.
It was, mate. Yeah, no, particularly, and as alluded to the middle of last week, there's a fair bit of business done. And we had one broker yesterday actually withdraw a fair bit of wool from the market. And these guys are having to buy. You can't ship thin air, so the guys had to step into the market and buy wool, and they've pushed those indicators up, 40 cents. 21 micron indicator had a spurt up 40 cents, but in the other centres are actually a fair bit behind. So there's a particularly bit of a spurt in Melbourne yesterday on 21 micron wools.
Now, we used to check in with the late Stephen Reid regularly just what's happening with the non-mulesed market. What are we seeing in that area?
I wouldn't say it's exactly taken a breather at the moment, but certainly we had a bit of gusto back in the autumn. Premiums are pretty high. They're pushing up to 20% above the normal sort of mules microns in those sort of 19, 20, 21. It's just the premiums are probably creeping back a little bit at the moment. I can't probably weigh the world is at this particular point of time, but certainly there's a lot of gusto. There's a lot of RWS inquiry. We talk about the responsible wool standard. That seems to be the key one that the mills are chasing overseas. And while the inquiry is still there, it's just the heat's coming out of it a little bit. But certainly, as far as the wool price goes, they're pretty good. But I'm just probably a little bit concerned, Ricky, about those non-mule sheep coming up to this ugly, humid sort of summer period coming on, because those flies love a bit of a bit of weather, and it's going to be I hate to think what's going to happen.
Oh, and wet paddocks are not too flash for the footrot either, I gather.
A lot of limpy sheep around. Yep, a lot of shitty sheep around. So you got a lot of worm resistance. There's a lot of my son's actually shearing at a shed at the moment. He's only getting sort of 50 a run crutching merinos. And he normally gets 150. So paint that picture.
Yeah, that's going to be a tough time for our wool producers. We'll see if we can keep finding something positive for them on the market each week. Andrew Partridge from Michell Wool, thanks very much for your report this week.
Thanks, Ricky. Cheers.